Hello and welcome to week 2 of the Socks Make People Sexy Let's Play Apple Terra week 2, and it's time to get spunky. What I mean by spunky is that our theme this week happened to be spunky, and we have to play a game that is spunky. And what better way of spunk than a magical anime princess? In this case, we're going to be playing Magical Poppin' for the Super Famicom, a game by Polestar, and published by, oh no, Pack-In Video. Great. Well, anyway, so Magical Poppin' is a cute little platformer for the Super Famicom, and it starts out with a dark and stormy night where we're playing as a magical anime princess, and this anime princess's name is Princess. So we're going to call her Raquel because she reminds me of Raquel. And so when the evil demon lord is attacking the castle, magical anime princess Raquel rushes in to the rescue. However, magical anime princess Raquel does not see the balcony when she jumps off and falls into the city. So now we're starting with level 1 of Magical Poppin'. And you'll notice that Magical Poppin' is a pretty standard action-adventure platformer for the Super Famicom. On here, you have a sword, you're attacking these penguins, you are fighting these bats, you're jumping, moving, and you also have some magic as well too. And you see on the top there, you have a little bit of a selection of magic too. Unfortunately, we can't select all of them right now because we have to actually gain them as we progress through the levels. But right now, we have a shot power-up magic spell that costs 2 star points in order to use. And then stars are just collecting them. I have 99 stars in the upper right there. That's my magic. On there, I need stars in order to use those magic spells. And as well too, you see the hearts on the side on there as well too. That's my health. You know, when you drop down to 0 health, you lose a life. It's up there in the corner. In there. But so far it's a pretty cute game. It almost reminds me a little bit of Zelda 2 in a way. Obviously, it doesn't play like Zelda 2, but it has different abilities like down thrust and up thrust. And of course, when you think that, I think Zelda 2. Those are different mechanics from Zelda 2 that really kind of make that game. Just reminds me of that. So, as well, so you see kind of the enemies also, like I mentioned, you have these little penguins, you have these little dinosaurs that breathe fire popping out. It's a really cute game, actually. Some of the background graphics are pretty standard, for the time also. I mean, this is, again, just from the publisher of Pack-In Video. It's not, there's definitely a sort of cheapness, like a Super Famicom cheapness to it on there, but honestly, it's what you're going to get in 1995 for the Super Famicom. And the two, just differences between the 16-bit systems. Now, notice also that Magical Poppin' has these different paths to take also, too. Down there, actually, there was a second path on the lower floor that you would just come up this way, too. Now, in this case, it doesn't really affect too much on there, but it does affect in later parts of the game. Yeah. You notice there was a what we call a princess icon. With collecting 3 princess icons in a level will actually net you an extra life. So definitely take a look out for those too. And actually the hearts also. Those hearts don't just increase your health, don't just heal you, they actually increase your total health for the entire game. So you want to definitely grab those as well too. This will definitely help you out later on too. You do gain in power actually as you progress through the game's 6 levels. Those are kind of that's the basics of Magical Poppin' here. So we actually are thrown into a boss who's pretty much Silver the Hedgehog from Sonic 06. On there, he's a guy who levitates furniture, and he's going to kill us with this head furniture. So basically, what you want to do here, you want to kind of dodge the furniture as it goes to. You can use there's a slide move you can use with down and the jump button, of course, kind of like Mega Man. It's not the best to use in this, but it's sliding away from furniture. It's the best thing to use. But basically, hit him when you get the chance, and there's a little bit of post damage and vulnerability also for bosses as well, and then as the main character also. Too. But basically, jumping through here too, you want to jump and actually hit those wolves there with the magic spells. Actually, it's the best way to do it. And actually, at this point too, there's that alcove there. Going into there will bring you to here and actually get to that cake icon, which actually heals all your health. And then you have to jump down into this place. So the multiple paths do actually come into play here. I've mentioned as well too, like kind of the visual design of the game too. It's a pretty good looking game here. As you notice, like the animation and everything too. Again, the backgrounds are a little off, I think. But the game definitely has spunk in its animation. Especially the main character. She really animates well. Almost, again, kind of reminds me of a Link on there with kind of the blue tunic thing going on there. It's a really cool design, actually. But actually, one thing we have now, that was actually a new spell on there. It's actually the bomb spell. And it's a spell that actually fires in an arc whenever you use it. So instead of firing in a straight line, it goes above your enemies. And it will explode too. And those blocks that you see also are actually icons that need to be destroyed with the bomb spell. So there's a little bit of lock and key mechanics in there too that some people may not like, but it's nothing big. Actually, above here also there is a little place also get some more stars here. Just careful about enemy as well too. Sometimes enemy placement above you can be a little less telling on there. That is hard to see, and so you could still take a hit unknowingly from doing that. One thing as well too in the game you notice also is the actual sound. And actually, the music changed once we beat the mini boss. The sound design, I do like the music in this game. In fact, I love this track here. But one thing you might notice also is that there's actually some voice acting in the game as well too. And looking up a little bit too, kind of with the history of the game also, there's not too much with the history. But the one thing that's really interesting is actually the voice actress of the game. It's actually Ai Ijima, who is actually worked in the Japanese adult video industry. Her career actually started more in the 80s. With different actually Japanese pornographic industry. But a lot of her work more went toward kind of mainstream, starting in like 1993. When she started getting some more roles in more popular culture over there. Especially, again, too, she's the voice of a random anime princess in 1995. So this is kind of in that era for her. And she actually went on to be one of the a cultural icon in Japan in the early 2000s, until her retirement in 2006, and unfortunately her passing in 2008 due to illness. She actually did a lot of work in education and for AIDS and HIV prevention. So she through like blogging, through different work, she's done a lot of really cool work too. She's actually I definitely look up as well too on here to see kind of her work, and that's kind of the most, I will say, that's probably the most interesting thing about this game is her work, of course, after this as well too. And again, she's voicing a random anime princess from the 90s on here for a random Super Famicom game published by Pack-In Video of all people. I mentioned Pack-In Video too. They've mostly done random Game Boy puzzle games and card games on it too. They're not too much. Some of their work is it's fine. This is probably one of their more well done works actually. And honestly too, this game is not bad. I like it myself. Actually, some of the later levels do have some really cool mechanics. Especially one spell is actually a rope swing. But as you see as well too, we actually went full circle around the level as well too. From there also, that and just full circle around that too, just to get some different things as well too, and actually some of those icons as well too to give us an extra life. So I see there are all multiple paths. They will lead you to rewards going through the game, but there is one. They'll take you still through one main path. And so actually we're coming to the end of the level here pretty much. Which now we're going to come up to this little screen. There's actually a place to the left as well too. There's nothing in there actually, so I don't recommend going in there. And that you have to fight these enemies again if you do. There, but basically you cross this bridge here, fight this other tank, and actually with the tank's bullets you can actually block those with your sword, so there's no problem there. But anyway, fight the tank here, and then go into the cathedral here where we'll be fighting a boss. And the first boss of the game is pretty simple. Burst out of the statue is this gargoyle thing. The best time to hit him, actually, I've found, is when he's in the air. He'll be in the air, he'll do this dive attack, and then he's going to do an attack where he'll go into the spiral, he'll twist down, he'll twist forward, and then he will move to the other side of the screen. Jump over him at a time while you're moving towards him. That's what I do. Don't do it too early or too late, you'll get hit by him if you do. But what you want to do is sort of actually avoid his things as well too. He usually does a dive and then the spiral thing going towards you, and then there's also a shot attack that he has, but that's pretty easy to dodge though. Anyway, just make sure you don't get hit too much on there too. But after a few hits, he does go down pretty easily, and that's actually the end of the first level of Magical Poppin'. And that's actually all we're going to be showing here today as well too. This game has actually not been kind to my computer for some reason with recording this. But hey, I want to thank you all for watching this video as well too. And hey, you all have a good day, and make sure to set your clocks forward.